These are all of my full-size palettes. So this is a lot. I don't even know how many this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 or 13, something like that. It's a lot. It's more than I can use. So let's go through these. I'm gonna just pick out a few right away that I know I don't want, and then we'll start diving into individual palettes. So this one, I bought this just like I bought the eye glitter. I bought it and then I've used it once. I was not feeling well all of December. I didn't use it. It's very holiday themed. There's no reason why you can't use this all year round, except for the fact that I'm only just now starting to get back into wearing makeup. I did swatch it. I bought it for this green color, like I was talking about. I really have like a hankering for green. I did not realize this was not an eyeshadow. It is a glitter, but they have a new glitter formula where it's not eye safe. It's like a very tiny micro glitter, and this is really nice. I like it. But I don't know if you can see that. The glitter particles actually separate, and then you have like chunks of the glitter in like a sort of shimmery green backdrop. It's not perfect. I think it would be fun to play with this and learn how to use it. And this is going to sound crazy, but I keep like seasonal clothing and accessories in individual little boxes. And then I pull them out when that time has come. And I think I'm going to put this in with my Christmas clothes just because I don't know. I think it'll be a lot more fun to pull this out at Christmas time and have like a fun themed palette to use than to use a Christmas palette all year round. And I just have so much eyeshadow. I didn't need anything that was in this, so I'm not gonna miss it. I don't know how long it'll last. I have eyeshadow palettes that are pretty damn old that are still fine, so I'm not worried about it like expiring before I can use it. I have more eyeshadow than I can ever use anyway, so I'm just gonna put this in with like my Christmas clothes and pull it out next Christmas. And if it's still relevant then, which it won't be, maybe I'll do some fun content with it, but probably not. I don't know. I'll just save this for Christmas and have fun with it when it is seasonally appropriate. And it will no longer be taking up space on my vanity, muddling up all my other like palettes and making it hard for me to use palettes that I really love. The other palette that I'm absolutely certain I want to get, oh, there's a bobby pin stuck to the magnet on that, is the Goddess palette by Alter Ego. This is a dupe for the Natasha Denona palette. I've gotten a lot of good use. If you could see these pans, you would see that a lot of them have dips. Obviously, Sparks looks like it's almost used up, but that's because it just falls apart all the time. I really don't want to keep this. I don't know this was before I understood that all these warm colors would look like trash on me, but I love this lime chrome color. It's kind of a topper and it looks beautiful on top of green eyeshadow. So I'm going to keep that one and the rest I'm going to get rid of. Also, I think it's starting to go off, especially this Python color is really chalky and dusty. So that is called Gaia in this palette, but it is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Python color, and it is really dusty. And Cassandra is a dupe for Lime Chrome. I'm going to keep Lime Chrome and get rid of everything else. Whew, what next? This palette keeps jumping at me, so let's do this. This palette, I don't think was well received by like a lot of beauty YouTubers, but I think that that's partly because they have so much makeup they need to store it, and I think it irritates them, this like bumpiness. I've heard a lot of people complain about it because it doesn't stack. I don't care about that. But also, I don't think that they understood that this palette was not for creating a traditional eyeshadow look with a transition color, a lid shade, darker outer corner, blah, 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 all that. I think it was really intended for just big swaths of like iridescent color all over the lid, just creating just beautiful washes of color. And that was what it was best at. This was also one of the first things I bought after my no-buy year. All of 2020, I was really into iridescent shimmery eyeshadow. So I bought this right away and I used it for the first couple months. I used it a lot, like nothing but this for the first couple months of 2021. And then I got really into neutrals and I spent most of 21 and a lot of 22 just really into more like neutral looks. So this has languished in the back of my collection. And I've started getting back into just like iridescent, beautiful iridescent looks, but I haven't pulled this back out. And oh, that one's a really pretty one. This is, I thought I was going to get rid of this, guys, but this is making me want to keep it. These are really pretty, just washes of color. Oh, now it's pretty. Now I want it. Oh, what do I do? Let's try this jade. Let's see how I feel. Okay, well, how about this? I will keep this for, you know what though? I don't know. I'm not into this. I used to do iridescent colors from my lashes up to my brows, up to my very thin brows, and that was my look. And that is just not the look that I'm going for anymore. I've been really a lot more into matte looks with glitter added than I don't know. Oh gosh. I'm like convincing myself to keep it by swatching all of this. Oh, it's really pretty. Oh, it's all really pretty. No, I think I'm going to say goodbye to this one. I've just had it for a really long time and I just don't use it. If I really wanted to use it, I would have, and I just don't. So there's something keeping me from using it. I did get a lot of use out of it. These pans have really deep gouges in them, but I think it's time to say goodbye. Okay, we are working our way through this pile. Oh gosh, let's pull this out. This will be easy. I don't think I like this. I got this in my Colourpop mystery box. And let's see, what can we put over top of this? There we go. And first of all, these warm colors I'm not going to use. So like half this palette is not something I want to use. Furthermore, these red stuff, like these burgundies, they have this weird quality to them where they look cool in the pan, but when you buff them out, they kind of turn more of like a rust color, more of like a warm dark red. And I don't know, so many burgundies do that. I think it has to do with the way they mix the pigments. I think maybe they took like a brown pigment and then just added a bunch of red to it. But then when you buff it out, some more of the other colors that were in the brown show up. I really don't know, but for some reason, that's what these do. So I think I'm gonna keep, for now, a couple of these light pink metallics and then just get rid of the rest of this. So I'm just gonna get rid of this. Oh, that reminds me, I should take these out. Okay, let's do this one. I just got this as a gift. This is a game and it's really fun. It goes with this worksheet here. And you have these cards and there's a game and you end up creating a look where you don't get to pick the colors. It just kind of ends up. And that's, I don't know, like really fun. This leg warmers here, the color leg warmers kind of died on me, but I think that's really fun. Not only that, but these colors are really interesting. I like bright colors. I don't have a bright rainbow palette, so I don't have like a nice bright yellow. I don't have a bunch of these colors. I don't have this like beautiful fuchsia here. And some of these colors are really like beautiful, like multi-chromes, duochromes, VHS up here. I love this purple rain color. So I'm going to keep this for a while. I'm not sure. I don't think the pans are removable. I think I tried on this one and that's why it broke a little. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. I made one look so far and it was fun. I think this would be fun. I've got a couple friends that also love to do makeup, so we'll do this with them. Oh boy, let's talk about the Gucci palettes. I love these palettes. I think they were dismissed very quickly, but when I travel, like travel, like go out of town for a weekend or a week, these are the palettes I bring with me most often because I can get so many different looks out of them. The eyeshadow also really builds on itself really well, so you can get everything from a really light look to a super intense look going out at night. This palette I like more as an entire color story. I can use more of the neutrals. This palette has some of my favorite singles in my whole collection in it. So I love these palettes. Yes, they're expensive. Both of these came into my life under special circumstances that like bring me joy to remember. So there is that aspect of it. I think if you're just looking for eyeshadow, obviously this is not the most cost-effective eyeshadow, but I'm going to make a whole video about these. Even these pans that look tiny, they're actually a really good size and they're very deep. So it's very strange the way they made them to be removable, but then they don't actually sell the palettes individually. Like, what is the point of, like, it costs a lot more money to make it so that the pans are movable. But if they don't sell them individually, then what is the point? Like if I have to buy a whole new compact anyway, I don't understand why they did that. But the one thing I like about that is I prefer the dark palette, but I actually prefer the new, like this is the first palette. I actually prefer the second palette's colors. So I usually have them swapped so that I'm using my favorite color palette with my favorite color eyeshadows. I guess that's the one advantage to that. So I'm keeping both of these for sure. We are down to 5 palettes. This Star Wars palette, once again, Star Wars nerd in the house, has really amazing singles. This bright red is one of the few reds that I've worn that doesn't look orange on my skin. It actually kind of looks bright red, so that's really fun for me. Some of these neutrals I can't wear, but this neutral I can, which is nice. Most colorful palettes, the neutrals don't work for me at all because they default to a warm neutral. This is why I was saying I don't need to keep the Jelly Much eyeshadow. This is basically the exact same sort of iridescent purple to blue color, but in a removable palette. The fact that these pans are magnetic means I use these as singles a lot more than I use some of my other palettes because I like to put together my own little color stories. This is just a really great palette. And this one I think is a good dupe for that Natasha Denona color from the Retro palette. It's not quite as pink in its base, but it's somewhat pink in its base and it has that light blue shift to it. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's basically a dupe for that Natasha Denona one. So I think I'm just gonna not try to bother to depot that and like heat it and all that. So this was a good palette. This silver is also the brightest silver eyeshadow I own. And I own a lot of silver eyeshadow because like it is just intense. It's very bright. So this palette is a win. I would have loved this palette even if it weren't Star Wars themed. And then it's Star Wars themed. I mean, come on, it's perfect. Definitely a keep. So we're down to the last 4 palettes. Let's start with the Natasha Denona Pastel palette. This was also a product that was dragged a lot by beauty YouTubers, but I really love it. I think some of them might have kind of missed the point. A lot of them don't think about people who do their makeup any other way but them. And I think a lot of them just review a palette sitting down and they don't like take the time to like wear it a lot so they don't know about the longevity. But I love pastels. I wear a lot of pastel eyeshadow and it does not do as good of a job. It often does not last as long on the eye or stay as vibrant looking as other types of colors. But these cream to powders in here are perfect. When you put this cream to powder color on, and then you put the pastel powder over it, this stuff stays all day. This blue is the perfect color blue. That blue is a powder, but that one's a cream to powder. It's just, I really like this palette a lot. I wish it had a little bit brighter of a pink. There's this light, I think this is technically a light purple. I wish there was one pastel-y pink. This is going back to the In a Trance palette. I wish there was one pink that was more like this, but this one's garbage that falls apart, so I'm not even keeping that as a single. This one is a little bit warmer. It's not perfect. It's not like no palette's gonna be my perfect palette, but these are also removable pans. And I have started to realize how much more I love palettes that have removable pans because I can take them with me. When I do my eye makeup and then I go out at night, I love to take the colors that I'm wearing with me. They also have this beautiful purple, which I love, this purple cream to powder. It looks very dark in the pan, but it is actually not that dark. It is a bright fuchsia, and that cream to powder formula means that it really stays vibrant. Anyway, I love this. I'm not sad I bought it. I tried to convince myself not to buy it, that I had a bunch of other pastels, but basically I just made a palette with the In a Trance colors, plus a few more from random other palettes, and the poor quality of those shadows, they were falling apart. So I'm really glad I got this. It's a little bit higher quality, and it's just perfect for me. So I'm keeping it. We are down to 3 palettes. This one was brand new. It was a Christmas gift, and I really like it. I haven't been wearing eyeshadow, so I haven't done much more besides pull it out and swatch it a little bit. but it's a really pretty palette. I've actually wanted the Millennial pink palette for a long time. One of those things where you want it really bad, but you're like, oh, I have the same colors elsewhere in my collection. I don't need it, but I've wanted it. So it was really nice to get as a Christmas gift. It's just got a really pretty color story. And if I'm going to have a palette that doesn't have removable pans, I want it to have a really pretty color story, because I love opening up a palette that has an interesting color story and being inspired by the colors that I see to make a look. And this is just such a pretty color story, so I am definitely keeping it. And then there were two. The last two palettes here are Club Nebula from Kaleidos and this YSL palette that my loving husband bought me for Christmas a few years ago. This palette is also a face palette. There are 4 eyeshadows, and then there are some highlighters and blushes and bronzers. To be honest, if I'm being honest, I don't like these eyeshadows. I don't think they work very well. I think the target audience for eyeshadows like that is not me, not someone who wants vivid eyeshadow. So I just don't even use that. But as a face palette, this is really perfect. And I actually, whenever I travel, not travel as in take to work with me or on the go in my purse, but like whenever I go on a vacation, a weekend trip, something like that, I bring this because I have blush, highlighter, and some like bronzer all in one go. And it's really convenient. I don't use bronzer very much. This and my other, what was it? The Dallas, Benefit by Dallas. This and Benefit by Dallas are the only two like bronzer colors I've ever had work for me, and they're actually very similar. So I love this, but to be honest, I'm not keeping it as an eyeshadow palette, and I don't look at it as an eyeshadow palette. I really think of it as a face palette, and I use it as such. So in fact, maybe I shouldn't even include this in the eyeshadow palette. Maybe I'll put this with the face products, the cheek products. And this is the last one. I'm not going to get rid of this. I love this palette. And this is also a palette where these 3 colors here are just some of these Space Age highlighters repurposed as eyeshadows. And I love that. I actually use them as highlighters quite a lot. But I also love these colors. This green is incredibly vibrant. I should use this more, but I just have so many palettes it gets kind of lost. So I think that with having decluttered a bunch, I think I'm going to try to move this up and get some more use out of it. And I think I will. This red is really pretty as well. It shows up as really red and not orangey or rusty. It just shows up as vibrant. So I'm going to start trying to have this sit out where I can see it, and that'll be a lot easier with fewer palettes. So there we have it. Let me pull out all the ones I'm keeping. So I don't know, do these all fit on frame? I don't know. Okay, so these are the palettes I'm keeping. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 palettes. That's kind of a lot, to be honest. That's more than I think anyone needs. But I think that a few of them are new and I haven't really gotten good use out of them yet. And I don't think it's too many for me, especially because in a lot of ways, these 2 are basically just collections of singles. And I use them as such. And it's really these 4 that I look on as like, or 5, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are more used as entire palettes. So I don't know. I feel okay about this, but I don't think I'm going to be in the market for any more anytime soon. This is like my limit of palettes for me to use. These are the palettes that I'm getting rid of. And in reality, I'm not even getting rid of this. I'm just putting it in my Christmas box and I'm only going to use it at Christmas, which is silly, but I don't know. It's a way for me to not just waste it. And I'm not surprised. I haven't used any of these in ages, so good riddance. This is not something I would have bought. This is just, you know, another reason why Colourpop or any brand mystery boxes are not always the best, because the chances of you liking what you get are a lot smaller than if you bought it yourself. So these are the ones I'm getting rid of. I think I did a lot more damage in the small palettes, and the small palettes kind of prevent me from using some of my big palettes. Like I said, I enjoy a cohesive color story in those small palettes because they are little cohesive color stories, always draw my eye. I think without so many of those little palettes cluttering up my vanity, I will be reminded to take out and use my big palettes more, and especially getting rid of these extra ones. Oh, you guys, I'm exhausted. Okay, but we have to get through my single colors. I've got 2 single eyeshadow palettes. And this one is empty. I don't know why I brought that out. Okay, so we just have this. This is a lot of stuff to get through. I have long been one of those people that doesn't want to get rid of colors if they're the only thing I have like it in my collection. This is why I have so many oranges, even though I hate orange eyeshadow. So right away, I'm just going to pull all these orange. I'm going to keep the orange glitter because I have used that. Glitter doesn't blend into the skin. It's these orange ones that blend into the skin, you know, orange shadows that just look trash on me. Right away, I'm just going to get rid of these. And let's see what else we have here. These are these little long ones here from Urban Decay. It was the Full Spectrum palette. I recognize the shape. Are really old and I don't think they're very good. Back when I didn't have a lot of colors and a lot of palettes, this was my only palette for a long time. It was awesome to have all these colors, but they're really old and I don't think they really perform well. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of most of these. I'm going to keep this really bright green one because I don't have another bright green one. This one, let me see. Wow, that still performs really well. Compare it to this one. I'm going to keep both of them just because they perform well, but it's fine. This black one is an old MAC shadow, 10 years old. I'm getting rid of it. Let's see, what else can I get rid of right off the bat? This is a Melt from the Melt Dark Matter stack, as is this. And this was from the initial release in 2014. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like gone chunky. There's like chunks in it. I think it's gone off. They're just really gross. I'm going to get rid of those. This is another orangey color that I don't think I want. Let me see. Some of these ones that have the most use were from the Urban Decay and Kristen Leanne's Stay Gold palette. And that was, gosh, that was one of my favorite palettes that I've ever bought. In terms of every color, there was one color that I didn't like. And besides that, every color was amazing. I think it might have been that one. So these were the original colors. I think there was one more, but I don't know where it is. I think maybe it's gone now. And I love all of them, so I'm going to keep those. I've kept this just because it's useful as like a big, who is this by? Unum Color Collection. Oh my. I have no idea what this is from. I have no recollection of getting this. I don't need it though. I kept it as like, oh, I don't have anything else like this. I haven't touched it since I got it, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, I'm going to clean off my hands and then we're going to swatch some of these to see if I really need all of these. Let's address these two mint glitters and this mint metallic. And I'm going to compare them to the Natasha Denona metallic mints. And now I wouldn't normally compare a single to a palette because they serve very different purposes. But in this case, these pans are removable and I treat them like singles. So this is interesting because these are silver with a bluish green reflect and they're not iridescent. So when the light's not hitting them right, they look silver. And then when the light does hit them, then they look blue-green. And I like it, but I always forget that I have it and I never use it. This is a glitter from Colourpop. I think they're both from Colourpop, but it's a much finer glitter. And it has that sort of ghost glitter effect. And I'm going to keep that as well. I know I just got rid of that old Urban Decay Heavy Metal one. And I think that this is a good substitute for that. I tend to think of it as mint because of how it looks in the pan, but on the hand, you can see it's not like a bright mint. It's just like a blue-green iridescence. So I'm going to keep that. And then we have this mint metallic. It's really pretty, but it's not the best. Compared that to the Natasha Denona metallic mint, which is a slightly different color, but I don't know. Do I really care that it's slightly different? I think I'm going to get rid of this just because I have that beautiful Natasha Denona shade. And oh gosh, you guys, I'm nostalgic for this one. You can see it's busted because it shattered in my car. But I wore this on my wedding. So I'm very nostalgic for it. And it's a really pretty nice mint matte. I do have a mint color in here. Let me see if I can swatch it without getting gross colors in it because I've been swatching so much. And they're not the same. This one looks very dark, but I know, you know, it's a very heavy swatch. Usually when I wear it, it's like this. Whereas this is more, this Natasha Denona one's more white based. So I'm going to keep both. Even though they look very similar in the pan, they're very different on. This one on almost looks like a light blue. Okay, we're getting down to it. This is another MAC shadow that it looks red in the pan, but when I put on, it just looks like pink or something, and it's kind of dusty and old, so I'm going to get rid of that. Then we have these olive green ones. I was just saying how I never use olive green. I don't know about these though. They are pretty. I think I'm going to keep them just because they are singles. If it was worth not keeping the palette, just to have a whole palette for colors I don't really wear that much, but it's not going to hurt anything to have these in my singles, I don't think. And I could see myself wearing these. It's not as likely to happen as a lot of these other colors, but I could see it. This is a really pretty deep green that I don't have any other colors like that in my collection, so I'm going to keep it. It's really useful. I like green looks a lot. And this is a very interesting formula from Urban Decay, but I think it's gone off. It's like very chalky. I'm going to get rid of that. We're down to not that many. We're down to this beautiful gold. This was also from the Kristen Leanne palette. It's a really pretty gold. And I feel like because it got lost amongst all my other golds. So let's look at that. It's a really yellowy gold, but I like it. I think that's you can see how different it is from that dark gold. And especially because I'm getting rid of the gold palette, I think I'm going to keep that. It's going to be one of my only true golds. And I'm going to keep these yellow and orange glitters just because sometimes I'll do like a really fun thing where I wear like a purple eyeshadow look and then with a orange glitter on it because I have a shirt that's orange and purple and I like to match my eyeshadows to my clothes. Let's talk about this purple. This is, I believe, also from the Kristen Leanne palette. Yeah, so it's a lot newer than the other pans that I have like that. Oh, but actually it's not performing too well. And it feels like chunky. No, I don't think that's good. Oh, we didn't talk about this one. I don't remember what this is from. Oh, this is from that large Colourpop palette I depotted. And it's another one very similar to the Natasha Denona one, but it has more of it where it's like a pink base with a light blue reflect, but this one is just heavier on the pink base, so it's got more of a darker aspect to it, but I do like that color combo, so I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep this one. That's the Lime Crime dupe. This gold glitter, I don't think I'm going to keep. It's just a plain gold glitter. It's kind of dried out. And I have the Lemonhead LA gold, silvery gold glitter that I just prefer if I want a gold glitter look. So I'm going to get rid of that. Now we're down to some of these ones that I just kept. And now that I look at this one's nothing special. It's not even that pink. It's more peach. I'm not going to keep that one, but I am going to keep the other two that are like actual pink. Is this a glitter? This is also a glitter. I don't like it. Blech, I don't want it. I'm going to keep this. It's not an ideal color, but it's my only like burgundy red. I think that's like a removable pan to take in little color stories. Let me see. No, it's pretty similar to this one. Let me compare it. Running out of swatch space. I guess here, well, my arm hair is messing it up. That's the Star Wars palette. And this is the single. Ooh, they actually look pretty different. I'm going to keep this. This one is pretty, but I don't think it would be what I really like to make a dark look. So I'm going to keep them both. I don't see myself using this ever, so I'm going to get rid of that. This one, though, is a neutral color that I would use, so we're going to keep that one. Let's try this. That is a really pretty color, also from the Colourpop, that big Colourpop palette I had. That's a nice deep color, and unlike this color, it will actually like be a nice like substitute for black in an outer corner. And then we have this deep plum, this bright periwinkle. Do I even want this? Oh yeah, that's a fun color. That's a fun color to have, so we'll keep that. We'll put this away. So let's bring it all back. I am getting rid of a lot of my singles, and I like that. I like that. That feels much better. When I thought of my singles before, this is what I was thinking of. Like, it felt like a bunch of garbage because there was so much of this stuff that I really didn't like in it. Now that I'm looking at this, it's really amazing, and I like this. This is what I've pared down. I've got 29, I think. That can't be right, but keeping 29, decluttering 28, and that is it. I'm done. That's all of my eyeshadow. I feel like exhausted, but we're done now, so that's good. Let me bring it all back if I can. Not the singles, but I'll bring back all the palettes. So this is everything that I'm keeping. We'll try to show more of it. See if you guys can see it all. Yeah, okay. Oh, I almost forgot a little guy. Oh wait, and my little palettes. Is that all my little palettes? Oh no, I've got little palettes too. So that's still a lot of eye makeup. It's a lot of eye makeup. It's more than I need, but who knows? This is getting old. I don't know how much longer I'll keep this, although I don't know. I like it. I don't know. I'm not gonna make any promises. This feels like more than enough, and I feel like I've gotten rid of half and I still have more than enough. So I clearly had too much before. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to be doing some video content in the future, more makeup content. And my next video, I'll be talking about where I've been and what I've been doing and why I've been gone, and how that's going to affect my content. Although, I don't know, who knows? I'm not very good at being a regular YouTuber, in case you haven't noticed. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.